Hey guys, this is Will at Third and Long. Today we are going to be breaking down who the MVP front runners are going into week 4. So 3 weeks of the NFL season are in the books. Who are the top 4 candidates leading the MVP race? Hit that like button and subscribe. Now, when I say who the front runners are, I'm not saying that these guys are going to win the MVP at the end of the season. It is just through the first 3 weeks, going into week 4, who is leading the race so far. Now, some of the criteria to what you have to do to even be in this list, the main thing that stands out is the team that you play on must have a winning record. So there's been 3 games so far. No one can be worse than 2-1. No one that's 1-2 can possibly be in first place for the MVP. No one that's 0-3 could potentially be in the place for the MVP. Kirk Cousins, they're 0-3. He's on pace to throw for like 6,000 yards. I'm sorry, you have to have a winning record to be in the MVP race. So that's the main criteria, is having a winning record. Coming in at number 4, starting on the list, we have Jalen Hurts. Now, he's the starting quarterback for the Philadelphia Eagles. When you look at his stats, you're probably wondering, why is this guy in 4th place? 3 touchdowns, he has 3 picks, but the Eagles are 3-0. They're in first place in the NFC East. There's a lot more to it than just those numbers. He is leading this team. Some of their games have been really close, and in crunch time, versus the Patriots and versus the Vikings, Hurts got them down the field, kept them in place to win the game. Look at his stats. Right now, he is projected. Now, this is just the projection, so drop the picks because he's not going to be throwing as many picks as touchdowns. But he's on pace for 3,600 yards, 17 touchdowns. But look at his running stats. He's on pace to rush for 600 yards with 16 rushing touchdowns. So Hurts is definitely taking the lead on the Eagles. He is one of the main reasons that they are undefeated and in first place in the NFC East. And he will be putting up crazy stats this year. Like I said, they've had some close games. Hurts has been the one to make the difference. Coming in at number 3 on the list, we have Josh Allen, the quarterback for the Buffalo Bills. They have a winning record. In the AFC East, they are 2-1. Now, the main knock on Josh Allen, and deservedly so, was that week 1 performance versus the Jets. That was awful. That was pathetic. People were knocking Josh Allen after that game. Everyone was saying he's just a worse version of Brett Favre. He's trash. He's washed up. And then what did Josh Allen do? He performed at a high level the next 2 weeks. They rebounded, beat the Raiders, and they beat the Commanders. And then all of a sudden, all that talk just kind of died down because Josh Allen got back to form. I have no clue how he let Zach Wilson and the Jets beat him week 1. That's the knock on why he's not higher on this list, was just based off of 1/3 of their games so far, he played like a hot mess. So you have to get punished for that. Now, Josh Allen will do what Josh Allen does. He will put up crazy stats by the end of the year. But how's he doing so far? So at this point of the season, 72.7 completion percentage, 728 yards. So he's on pace to throw for 4,100 yards and 28 touchdowns. And his rushing stats, he always runs for a lot. He's on pace to run for another 600 yards and 6 touchdowns. So Josh Allen is putting up crazy stats. Week 1 was awful. There's no way to cover that up. But since then, they are playing at a high level, and they are in a very tough division. But Josh Allen, just like he is every single year, is one of the reasons why the Bills always get in the playoffs, and they're always in the conversation for the Super Bowl. So Josh Allen's coming in that number 3 spot. Coming in at number 2, we have none other than Patrick Mahomes, the 2-time Super Bowl winning quarterback for the Kansas City Chiefs. Now, they are in first place in the AFC West. They do have a winning record of 2-1. If they had Kelce starting the year week 1, this team is no doubt 3-0 right now. So he could potentially be higher up on this list, but Kelce wasn't there. They did not play a very good game week 1. Now, if Kelce plays, they're 3-0. If Tony doesn't have Butterfingers and drop every single pass, they're 3-0. But Mahomes, nonetheless, is still having a great year. So look at these stats right now. He has a 65.5% completion percentage, 803 yards, 7 touchdowns, 2 picks. He's on pace to do what Patrick Mahomes does every single year. He's going to throw for 4,600 yards, 40 touchdowns, but he's also running the ball a lot this year. So he's also on pace to run for 600 yards. So if the guy who is in 1 wasn't doing what he was doing, Mahomes would definitely be number 1. The main thing that stands out to me, yes, he has Kelce, but the wide receiver position on the Chiefs is a merry-go-round. They cycle guys in every single year. Ever since Hill left, it's just plug in the next guy, plug in the next guy, plug in the next guy, and his production never drops. It has nothing to do with the skill on the roster at the wide receiver position. It's all Patrick Mahomes. It doesn't matter who's out there catching the ball. This guy's going to throw for 4,800 yards every year, 40 touchdowns. So that's amazing. That's Tom Brady-esque. It doesn't matter who's catching the ball. He will have the same level of production. Now, some people on some charts had him at number 1, which I guess they're only doing that based off of what he's done previous years. However, the guy at number 1 is putting up ridiculous stats. So that's the only reason why Mahomes is at 2. But like I said, he's having a great year. At this point, he's perfectly positioned. Chiefs are going to go on a great run this season. But he's number 2 to none other than Tua Tagovailoa. So the Dolphins are having a crazy year. They're in first place in the AFC East, 3-0. So no losses, so they automatically have a leg up on a lot of the other quarterbacks here. So they're undefeated. They hands down so far this year have the best offense in the NFL. Top 5 passing, top 5 rushing. So they're completely well-rounded. Defense has been playing better every single week. But what about Tua? How's his personal stats looking? Look at this. This guy's throwing for 71.3% completion percentage, 1,000 yards, 8 touchdowns, 2 picks. Look at what he's on pace for. 5,800 yards, 45 touchdowns, 11 picks. That's ridiculous. That's record-breaking yardage production there. Now, some people might say that it's solely Mike McDaniel's offense. I think that is partially some of what it is. However, someone has to throw the ball. Someone has to lead the offense. Mike McDaniel is an offensive genius because he's not asking Tua to do what Tua can't do. Tua is not Justin Herbert. He can't throw the ball 50 yards. However, he can throw the ball under 20 yards very accurately. To me, it's kind of like a Drew Brees, kind of similar size, similar arm strength. Don't ask of him what he doesn't need. The Dolphins have the most talented wide receiver core in the country right now. Get the guys in space, get them the ball. Hill, Waddle, Berrios, they're loaded. But Tua, nonetheless, is having to deliver the ball and lead the offense. And he's doing everything that they're asking, but they're asking him things that are within his skill set. Short, intermittent passes. And he's excelling at that. 5,800 yards. That's Tua. Tua is doing that. Tua is getting a lot of praise this year, so congrats to him. His main concern is, can he stay healthy the whole year? Will he have the concussions come back? Hopefully not. This is really good for Dolphins fans. They have not had a real quarterback since Dan Marino. That's early 90s, that's so long ago. Some people alive right now watching pro sports have never even seen the Dolphins have a good quarterback. So congrats to Tua. That's why he's in the number 1 position right now, because the numbers he is putting up are record-breaking so far. But like we said at the beginning of the video, it's only week 3. So he's in first place week 3. Will he even finish the year healthy? I don't know. I definitely hope so. If he keeps playing at this level, he will be in the number 1 spot week 17. But congrats to Tua, and congrats to these 3 other quarterbacks. So as of right now, that's my personal top 4 for the MVP list. We have Jalen Hurts at 4, Josh Allen 3, Patrick Mahomes at 2, and Tua at number 1. Hit that like button and subscribe. Thanks.